Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining me for another episode of my Villa career on FIFA 16. We are nearing the end of November, and Joe Cole has returned from his loan at Coventry City. I don't really see him bolstering our central mid now that I've brought in Grenier, so he might be one of those players that well, he's going to be a fringe player, a player that I'm going to use in maybe the Capital One Cup. Well, actually, we're out of that now, aren't we? Maybe in the FA Cup when that rolls around, we'll just have to wait and see, or maybe we move him on in January when the transfer window reopens. Up next for Villa in the Premier League, the last game of November, we were back at home at Villa Park to take on Watford, and by going by our current form, well, I didn't know what to expect really from this game. One moment we're beating City, title contenders who are flying high at the moment in the league, to losing away to Everton. It's been a real stop-start, twists and turns, up and down kind of season, and we're not even halfway done yet. We did find ourselves in the lead against Watford though, just under 15 minutes gone of the game with that header from Carlos Sanchez. It was nicely put together with Jordan Ayew finding Jack Grealish just inside the box there. He headed it back into the centre for Sanchez to tuck away into the bottom corner. You can see as well, I forgot to mention that Bunn started this game. I decided to drop Guzan after his poor performances lately. I mean, his performance against Everton alone was enough for me to drop. I mean, okay, it only ended 1-0 to Everton, but that free kick could have easily been prevented that Baines scored. We could have kept the game at 0-0 if anything, and he couldn't even do that. I feel so wary with him when he's in goal, when I pick him in the first team, and it's amazing whenever you come up against Guzan on career mode, he's like a world-class keeper. So Bunn had to come in. I replaced Guzan with Bunn. There was nothing Bunn could have done about that shot from Deeney though. This was incredible, and you guys will see what I'm talking about on the replay here. It's a perfect camera angle as well. He passes it to Diamante, back to Deeney, hits that on the outside of his foot, and the swerve on the ball is incredible. The post helps the ball on the way in. Bunn couldn't have done anything about it, and I don't think Guzan would have saved that. I know he's made a few good saves this season already, but I don't think he would have got to that either. Overall though, I was pretty impressed with Bunn's performance. He was really stepping up to the challenge of starting for Villa in the Premier League. This was his first Premier League game. I know I started him in the Capital One Cup game against Barnsley earlier in the season, but apart from that, you know, I think there's a future for Bunn, even though his overall rating's a lot lower than Guzan's. I mean, if Guzan is going to keep performing the way he has been over the last 4 or 5 games, then I don't think there's a future for him going forwards in this career mode. So with that draw against Watford, we are in 9th. We are in the top half. We're still on course for a Europa League spot. Obviously, a win against Watford, who are in the relegation zone at the moment, would have been a lot better, would have helped our chances of climbing up the league, but so far so good. Another win will certainly get us up into 6th. We can't allow the likes of Sunderland or Manchester United pulling away from us, so we had to go to St Mary's with a clear head, roll up our sleeves and really work for those 3 points. It was certainly doable. I mean, Southampton, they're another team that are towards the bottom of the table. A loss against Villa could potentially see them drop into that relegation zone. So it was going to be, once again for Villa, another tough challenge. Charlie Austin, Sinclair, Gill, all started going forwards. Players that I've heavily relied on with 14-15 games gone already of the season. They're yet to really tick, but I thought that they did so well in this game against Southampton. Clement Grenier, unfortunate not to convert that attacking movement really. He chested the ball down, kept it under control so well, hit it on the half volley, but the keeper with a brilliant save, keeping it at 0-0. Charlie Austin had a chance of his own with that volley, but it was struck right down the throat of Southampton's keeper. It was a simple save as he just palmed that over. It ended up being a goal kick in the end because Fer got on the end of it. But it was Southampton that made it 1-0. Guzan just displaying again. At the time, I know what I've said, that I wanted to start playing Bunn a lot more, but I thought to myself, you know what, I'm going to give Guzan another chance. And when Rodriguez scored that goal, I know it was a simple tap-in and it was an absolute scramble in the box. I was almost tearing my hair out. Couldn't believe what was going. We went full on attack And we got the equaliser. The goal coming from Grenier, a long distance shot, and it hit the post on the way in. Drawing us level just before the break. Perfect time to score, really. Stephen Colker would have been wishing that he'd done a lot better at the back there for Southampton to shut down Grenier, to stop him from pulling off his shot, and they failed to do that. Very incompetent there. And just before the half-time whistle, it was a double salvo from Aston Villa. You can see Grenier running away with this match. Unchallenged again by Stephen Colker. I'm not sure what he was doing. He's standing in front of the goalkeeper, stuck out his leg thinking that he was going to get a touch on it, a vital touch to block it away, but unable to do so. And we found ourselves in the lead. Perfect. I was absolutely over the moon heading into the second half, being in the lead away to Southampton. Perfect strike as well from Grenier. Struck right up into that top left-hand corner. Right-hand corner, I should say, not left. We almost doubled our lead in the second half. Gill's chance just sailing wide on that finesse shot. Grenier, though, was all over this match. He was the real standout player for Aston Villa, scoring 2 goals and an assist as well. Getting third on the score sheet with that cross into the box. Great movement from Villa. It's not very often you see Grenier down on the right on the wing there, but he whipped in the ball, found Fur perfectly, and he converted that, making it 3-1 to Southampton. That would be the final score as well. Good 3 points to get us back on track after that draw against Watford and that loss against Everton earlier on. But we had to put this win against Southampton behind us as quickly as possible, as we had to turn our attention to yet another vital game in the league at home against Arsenal. Up first, though, I was doing a bit of inquiring here and there for a few players before the transfer window opens, and I was thinking maybe Juff from Stoke would be a good signing, you know, for our attack, to bolster it along with Charlie Austin. We need a bit of pace going forwards, and I think Juff could maybe add that. They are looking for about 10, 12 million. I'm not sure whether I'll sign him. Obviously, I'll have to sell a couple of players in January to get that type of money. But, you know, it's always good to make a few inquiries here and there before that transfer window opens, to see what your options are. Anyway, moving on to that next game then, as I've already mentioned, we were up against Arsenal and totally up against the odds. But, you know, sometimes the odds mean absolutely nothing, because City have already come to Villa Park and they've lost. We beat them 2-1, if you remember, in the previous episode. It wasn't that long ago, I know. And now Arsenal come here. They're doing well in the league heading into this game. They were first, second. They've got a pretty strong team. They've strengthened in the summer with Matuidi coming in from PSG. Ozil started on the bench, though. I was very surprised to see that, with Rosicki probably taking his position in that number 10 role. Giroud starting up front. They were going to be a handful anyway with Sanchez starting. We almost opened up the scoring with just under 20 minutes gone with that opportunity from Scott Sinclair. It was served on a silver plate for him, and he just couldn't wrap his foot around the ball to try and get a bit of swerve on it to find the bottom corner. So the game stood at 0-0 as we headed into the break. I mean, Arsenal, they were doing well with their opportunities. The crossing into the box was just sublime. You couldn't knock it. I mean, this was another opportunity for Arsenal. It was perfectly delivered by Rosicki, showing his experience. It was screaming out for Giroud's head, though, that ball into the 6-yard area. But he was nowhere to be seen. Thankfully, he wasn't there, though, because it probably would have been a goal for Arsenal. We kept the game at 0-0. We kept plugging away. Jack Grealish here, great opportunity. Cech found it so difficult to hold on to the ball, even dropping to the ground to clench onto the ball. In the second half, Giroud actually came awake, had a go on goal, and it was Guzan who was putting in one of his better performances of the season as he tipped the ball wide for a corner kick. With 52 minutes gone, it was Arsenal in the lead against Aston Villa. It was 1-0 with that header from Giroud. Very disappointed. He certainly did wake up. I think maybe Wenger had a few words at half-time in his ear, saying, I want you to do this, make yourself a bit of a nuisance for that back four. They're looking a bit weak at the moment, and they really did capitalise on that, putting themselves in the lead. They were marching on for those 3 points. But would the lead last? Kashani with a challenge there on Fur, conceded the free kick. We were 37 yards out, decided to take it short, finding Clement Grenier. And look at the footwork, keeping the ball close to his feet, working it into the box, and eventually found the back of the net. He went completely unchallenged. I was very surprised by that. I mean, you've got Kashani again in there, Debuchy, just failed to make a challenge. And Wenger, I'm sure, will be very disappointed with that, as Arsenal, up until that point, were in full control, and then the pressure was on them. We almost made it 2-1 with that chance, but it was straight at Petr Cech once again. In the end, it finished 1-1 at Villa Park. I'm happy with that point, but we've just got to make sure now that we go on to St James's Park against Newcastle and get the 3 points there. Things are looking okay, they're steady at the moment for Villa. At least we're not in the bottom half of the table yet. Anyway guys, that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all soon for the next one.